No, these are Lawton's jokes. Fuck. Nah, okay. I want to give you all to give it up for your first comic tonight. His name's Sean Bishop.
Thanks. So there's a long debate over what's a better painkiller, Tylenol or Advil. And I've always shared this opinion that for like muscle soreness, you want to go for Tylenol. But for everything else, Advil. You know, headache, bee stings, if you're sick, whatever, use Advil. And I convinced my brother that this is true, and I just think Advil fixes everything, and my mom hates this. So I have this bad luck in my life that whenever I'm cutting grass, we have hornets all the time. I constantly get stung. I always take Advil. And it happened twice one summer in 2016 that I got really bad bee stings. But in that same summer, August 1st of 2016, I slipped down my backyard and got my foot caught in the lawnmower, cutting off 3 of my toes, okay? And I ran up my backyard, and my dad was in the side yard, and I'm like, Dad, we need to go to the hospital. He's like, bees? I'm like, no, Dad, I cut off my fucking toes. And I ran to our car, and my dad always makes fun of me because he's like, you should be wearing cleats when you're cutting our backyard. And I always cut in tennis shoes. I'm like, Dad, you're always cutting in cleats. Your son's sitting there in a car bleeding out thinking, man, my dad's tying his fucking shoes right now inside just so he can drive him to the hospital. And my dad flew to the hospital with me in the car, blood all over the base. And I get to the hospital in the ER, and he calls my mom because she was at work. And they get me in the ER and they start shooting me up with this drug called Dilaudid, which is a very strong painkiller. I got 3 shots of Dilaudid in the first 20 minutes of being there. And then they're like, we can't give you any more shots because you will literally pass out. And they're like, I didn't understand what Dilaudid was, but then they were like, we're gonna give you morphine. I'm like, morphine's the shit that they give soldiers when they get shot. So this is good stuff. About 5 minutes later, my mom walks in, and she's not panicked at all, and she throws me a bottle, and she says, Sean, here's some Advil that fixes everything. Mom, it's not time for the fucking jokes. So, I spent a week in the hospital after my surgery. I cut off these 3 toes on my right foot, and I get at home, and after a month of being bedridden, I had to learn to walk again. It took a while. It was very hard to walk, and my main focus was walking once again. But man, do I tell you, whenever I did finally walk again, I could make a mean fried rice. See, I went from a serious joke to a dumb one really quick. Stay on your toes, guys. I can't. Besides being a comedian, I'm an avid lover of koala bears. Like, I have a goal in life to one day marry a koala bear. If you guys find that disgusting, because you gotta realize how fucking cute they are. Alright. Fun facts about koala bears: they have 4 opposable thumbs, 2 on each hand, and they also have no natural predators. This is due to the fact that during every waking moment of their life, they eat eucalyptus leaves, which are poisonous to everything, including the koala bears. The reason why the koalas don't get poisoned by eucalyptus leaves is because when they're babies in their mother's pouches, the mother feeds them her feces, which works as a catalyst to produce a bacteria that breaks down the poison in their adult life. My love for koala bears is why I'm going to run for president in 2032. On the stance that I think baby koalas shouldn't have to eat their mother's shit anymore. And instead, to defend themselves from predators, I will issue them government 9mm pistols. Following these actions, we will train the koala bears to overthrow the Australian government and take back the land that was once theirs. And at that point, the Koalan government, supreme leader, these people fucking love me, I know, I'm fucking fantastic. The Koalan leader, supreme leader, does not respect my authority. I will poison him with the eucalyptus oils that his forefathers once loved. I will instill a new leader. That way I can vacation there whenever I want. I'm working on bits, but this is going well. I wrote this one today. I was talking to a fine-ass koala bear, texting her. And my parents were just on a trip, okay? And I realized that I had to explain to this koala bear why it is hell to travel with my parents. So here's my text message. This is some background story here. I have two parents, as we all know. But my two parents are both lieutenant colonels in the Air Force. They're retired. And they were logistics officers, which means for more than 20 years of both of their lives, their job was to pack airplanes and get them from point A to point B. Okay? Which means the problem for us as a family to travel starts the moment we put the first piece of luggage in the back of the car, because they cannot agree on where the piece of luggage should be put. All right? This is going to be a long dialogue. I want you to know that this dialogue happens every single time we fucking travel. Every time. Dad, quote, "We're going to get on the road at 7 a.m. sharp. Action. Time finished packing, roughly 7:45 a.m. Mom, quote, "I need to use the bathroom now or I'm going to have to pee not even an hour in." Dad's emoji, angry face. Mom's emoji upon realizing dad's emoji, rolls the fucking eyes. Dad, quote, "I'm going to check to make sure we have everything we need." Action, walks inside. My mom to my brother and I, quote, "I don't know why he's always like this." Me and my brother, emojis. My brother shrugs. I actually have this text message printed out. You can see I'm a tree there, because koalas love trees. And I have to stay in character. Action. Number 1, Dad comes out and we all get in the car. Action number 2, Dad's driving like our destination is the emergency room and I cut off my toes again. Action 3, Mom starts backseat driving. Dad, quote, angry cussing face. "Amy, do you want to drive the damn car?" Mom, angry face. "If you're going to keep driving like this, yes." Dad, angry face. "Then you can." Action. Dad pulls over and Mom starts driving. Mom every hour for the next 8 hours, quote, "Damn it, I already have to pee again. Is it alright if we stop? You boys can stretch your legs." Action. We stop and repeat this process till the trip is over. Cool. As I said, I wrote this today, so I don't really have a punch, but my parents are still married. My dad's here, by the way, so he's right behind you guys, the oldest guy in the room. If you want to look at him, go for it. Good guy. But I just want to say, he's married to my mom still, but it was his second marriage, so I'm assuming for the first one that this was a fucking red flag. I'm on fucking fire. Love this shit. I used to smoke weed every day. I don't anymore. I smoked it from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, which isn't a great habit. I did that for 3 to 4 years, okay? And I only had this happen a few times that, and I don't know if anyone here has, but have any of you guys ever been so high that you're thinking you're saying one thing, but you're really saying the other? Okay, I had 2 instances of this happen. The first one was on 420, and I was smoking in my dorm room in college in Kaiser, West Virginia, with the guy across from me, Ed, and his girlfriend. And we went to go get breakfast, and I'm sitting there talking to the lunch, with a calf worker. I'm like, I want potatoes, and I'm pointing at potatoes, and she kept scooping scrambled eggs, and I hate scrambled eggs. I'm like, no, potatoes. And she's like, you're saying eggs. I'm like, eggs. The other instance of this happening, I was with my friend Jason, and we were smoking on his porch, and he had a friend call him, and his name's Rob, and he's like, hey, is it cool if I come over? And he's like, let me just ask Sean to make sure. He's like, hey, Sean, are you okay with little people? I'm not very PC, so I was like, a midget? I fuck with midgets. And we keep smoking, and a few hours pass, and Rob never comes over. And I look at Jason, I'm like, hey, why didn't Rob come over? And he's like, it's probably because of what you said. I'm like, what did I say? And he's like, hey, Sean, you said midgets? I fuck midgets. I'm no longer friends with Jason. If you're not wanting a friendship, that's how you do it. You threaten to fuck their friend Rob. I don't send dick pics. The reason why is because I've realized I have very large hands and not a very big penis. Thank you. If this joke doesn't make you guys want to fuck me, I don't know what. So I have very large hands and not a very big penis. And I realize that when I do send a dick pic, it's very much like if an anatomy class was trying to recreate King Kong.
Oh man.
I'll take it. Awkward silence. Not killing us hard anymore. So let's do this. When I was 13, I went to a Michigan at Penn State football game. I don't know if, I assume you guys are WVU fans, but I don't know for how long. That was 2008. Gotcha. Right when Rich Rod left to Michigan, and he took his coaching staff with him. We knew some of his coaching staff. So they offered us coaching tickets there. And they gave me a bunch of Michigan gear, and it was a Penn State whiteout game. And I went to the bathroom, and I remember walking back from the bathroom, some drunk Penn State fan spit on me, which sucked, but definitely not the worst thing to happen to a kid at that stadium. I'll end on this one. My name's Sean Bishop. I have a goal in life to be the most famous Sean Bishop, which is fortunate because there's not many of us. Like if you think about it, in 1981, the second overall draft pick in the NBA draft was a guy by the name of Isaiah Thomas. And in 1989, a woman in Washington State named her son after him, and that Isaiah Thomas grew up to be one of the greatest point guards in NBA history. How fortunate am I that they weren't named Sean Bishop, because my dream would have ended the moment I got cut from the 6th grade basketball team. Fortunately for me, I just have to be more famous than actor Sean Bishop. Exactly. Who the fuck is that guy? Turns out actor Sean Bishop's famous for one movie role where he played the eldest son of the main character in the 1977 classic, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Which means right now as an open mic comic, I'm the second most famous Sean Bishop, right behind a guy that's been out of work for 45 years. Like if you guys can leave here tonight and remember I'm Sean Bishop, I will be the most famous Sean Bishop in front of a guy I can only assume is a homeless man on the streets of Hollywood, which once played a secondary character in a movie about communicating with aliens. And I hate alien movies, because they're always about how do we communicate with the aliens. That's not the problem, guys. We should be worried, can the aliens communicate with spiders? Exactly. I'm gonna explain it. Because if the aliens just show up and decide to wipe out the human race, they're a bunch of racists. But if they can speak spider, turns out I'm the racist. I don't know if you guys know this Hitler fella, but let me drop some numbers on you. He's famous for this thing called the Holocaust, where he killed 66% of the Jews in Europe. I've killed 100% of the spiders I've ever fucking seen. Which means if the aliens can communicate with spiders, I'm gonna be the dickhead in every alien history book that tried to wipe off an entire species off of this planet. But if a spider genocide makes me the next Hitler, I'll own it. I'll vow to kill every last one of those 8-legged fucks. Because every single person in here knew who Hitler was. Not damn well knew who actor Sean Bishop was. And I played him win. Hey, thank you guys. I'm Sean Bishop. Have a great fucking night.